Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with the Great War mod. We're playing as the Russian revolutionaries in World War I. Last time around we ended off with the Battle of Ryazan, where we defeated the Whites, who were contesting our control over the means of production. The factory is now at full working order, and as you can also see, winter has retreated, and we are actually in early April of 1918. Since then, oh yeah, I should also say that what we did last time as well was what we took Latvia and we took them out, so they're no longer a force to be reckoned with. And since then, we have marched our armies towards our enemies, so we're lining up for a battle here, where Nicholas is going to bring his revolutionary force with the Order of the Red Baron, I almost said, Banner, the Order of the Red Banner, and also revolutionary sailors, Red Army infantry, against the Lithuanians, which are setting up to guard this bridge. They are going to get reinforcements from Vilnius. Most likely, I'll actually hold this attack until I can bring in both forces. And in that case, I will also move over some of the artillery to the leading army, so that we can actually force ourselves across the bridge without having to rely on relentless waves of infantry to charge at the crossing point. It could be very well that the Lithuanians might have machine guns. They do not have a factory though, but you know what? They might very well not actually have machine guns. I do have a reconnaissance plane. Maybe we should go ahead and check, at least at the capital. Let's see what they have. Because there are no machine guns, light infantry and cavalry. Some guard cavalry even. What do they have at the front? Can I infiltrate those guys? No, I cannot. But I guess there's no machine guns there, so we do have that advantage. We could power them down with the machine guns. And no artillery either, so might be able to just use the first army to actually power my way through that. And the quicker we get through, the quicker we can reunite all of Russia. I've also moved a third army over here, so we will full stack, actually moving down to take out the Belarusians. They have sent a force to actually attack us, which is stupendously stupid to abandon their capital when we've got this army on its way to completely take them out. In case though, I doubt they'll be able to make it over this vast territory of nothing. I have an army ready set up to attack them. It's a lot of SMG infantry. We've got some paramilitaries, some border guards, and engineers. So a lot of units that can spawn up ahead of the main army, and in that case could have quickly moved to take out the enemy's artillery. Over on this side, we're marching another force. It's an all-cavalry force. I actually thought this one's going to move quicker, but it seems like the actual main army coming over from here will rifle grenadiers, Order of the Red Banner, assault battalions, border guards, and so on. They're actually the ones that are going to be able to take back Smolensk and put that back in our hands. And expel the white forces. There's a very few of them. I can't demand surrender, so we'll have to kill them all. We lost 128 men compared to the enemy, which lost 1120. And this is taken over. I'm actually building up some of the fields up in Petrograd, so soon the skies over Europe will be filled with Kirov airships reporting for duty, just bombing away. We'll get this little aircraft in the meanwhile to scout for us. until we can have an armada of Kirov airships flying through. So it looks like the White Army hasn't put any resistance along the road. Let's just leave the aircraft here so we got that under control. I think we'll go to wipe out the Whites before we go ahead and deal with the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are the ones that have actually captured the most territory and have been the most successful. So the Ukrainians, they do revolt in the Odessa region, they do revolt in the Kiev region, and they do revolt in the Kamets region. But then, on their own accord, they went in and annihilate the Romanian rebels that have taken over the Moldova region. And so they have created a greater Ukrainian state here. They are not just where they rose up in revolt, but they've actually gone ahead and conquered territory. So these are the guys to be a little bit worried about. You can see they're building heavy artillery. That is because of the Kiev region, which I believe I put pretty heavy industrialization on. Not at all, actually. We built the logistics base, so they don't actually have a factory, but they do have a developed industry sector in town. So that is dangerous. I don't think we built any factories. No, there was just a town over in Rostov-on-the-Don. So they do not control any factories. They do, however, going to get control of a college. So they will be able to research stuff. Yes, with all of that said, I think what we'll do is we'll actually take the risk and attack and see if we can't break through the bridge. I want to attack the bigger force. It might be that we're intercepted, as they combined strength might actually outnumber us. With that said, let's march to victory. And we did get the reinforcement army. It's just the gas artillery that's not going to join in. All of the enemy forces are going to be drawn in. So in reinforcement they get from the town as well as the secondary unit there on the bridge. So in total we're meeting an enemy at the strength of about 5,000 men. However, we bring roughly 6,000 men, and I do believe we are at a lot better shape in terms of our troops with the Order of the Red Banner. I say it like the Order of the Red Baron, but it's the Order of the Red Banner. Enough of that, though. Let's go ahead and smite these rebellious forces and take control of all of Russia. We have a very commanding view from up here, beyond which we can see all the way down to the crossing point. And this artillery, I believe, also actually can throw shells almost all the way to the enemy spawn. They have elected to put their troops quite far back rather than trying to rush the river. So I think we should be safe at crossing. Artillery is back here. We're gonna get reinforced with more artillery. Then, as we go through here, we've got the sailors in the 3rd rank. Then, ahead of them, we've got the Red Army Rifles, and ahead of them, we've got 2 units of partisans. To the right, we've got the machine guns. They're gonna be moved forward towards the river's edge. Not the river, the river. What did I think I was saying? And then over here, ready to cross the bridge, we've got the Order of the Red Banner. Said it right this time around. So yes, let's go ahead and start. I'm going to start by getting the machine guns up here. Told them to hold fire, as I don't want any accidents. We're going to have the partisans crossing first. So then we're going to get Red Army Rifles to move forward. We're gonna have the sailors coming in next. Tell them to hold fire, except for one of the sailors, which is gonna claim the warehouse. Here comes secondary artillery unit. It's going to be set up over there. And we're going to cross the order of the red banner now. The enemy doesn't have any artillery, so I'm not too worried about moving my units in really compact formations. Even so, I'm not really doing it except for crossing the bridge. Taking control of the warehouse. And that also has a pretty commanding view, as we, from the top floor, could fire way across. Out, hopefully across the river quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit. So that's a really good view. Plus the enemy cannot destroy the house, which means it's a really good strong point. They do have a lot of cavalry, but I think trying to get all that cavalry to get through the machine gun, the partisans, the Red Army rifles, the sailors, and then also the water obstacle of actually trotting through that heavy water. And then we've got barrier troops coming up. 2 units of. And an external artillery piece. And that will definitely, if it wasn't already, the battle heavily skewed in our favor. So we've taken control here. What I can see though is that the enemy's got a lot of cavalry, a lot of dragoons, a lot of hussars, lancers, wait, they have cuirassiers. So they have a cuirassier unit. They have 2, in fact. And then lancers. And then lots of infantry is moving forward as well. Partisans gonna have quite the difficult time here. They are supported by heavy artillery, which is blasting up these dragoons. And the rifle fire is quite devastating on the cavalry units. Here we go, both the barrier units. I'm gonna tell them to hold fire as they're gonna be put in the back behind everyone. Let's go over to the bridge, where the Red Order has now crossed. And they'll move into formation and prepare for a giant flank maneuver. Oh crap. Get ready as soon as possible because cavalry is already coming this way. We've got a Lancer unit. Enemy infantry were firing down towards the partisans, but only the slightest of casualties among them. I'm guessing the forest, they're using the forest to cover themselves, my men. Cover themselves, sounds like they're naked. That's not the case. But they are able to escape the devastation of the enemy rifle fire, which they inflict on their own. They actually shot their own officer right there. He's lying right there. Right, the Order of the Red Banner has set up, so their flank attack should be going ahead. Most of the cavalry is now rolling forward. The partisans are probably not going to have an easy time dealing with all that, but what do we care? Oh, here they come. Here's the big charge by the enemy. Let's see, are we firing from the house? Yes, the warehouse just opened up. The partisans, they're gonna have to retreat through this hail of gunfire. So I don't think there's any point. As we now kind of lured all the enemies into that very deadly ground, why don't we turn on the hose and spray them down? The counter-revolution must fall. They're opening fire across the river though. Could be dangerous if they're aiming for the machine gun, which I don't think they are. Are they trying to cross? Looks like they kind of are. Our partisans are trying to cross. Heavy friendly fire coming their way though. Enemy cavalry trying to cross. I doubt they'll get across. Most of the infantry units completely wiped out here. And same for the enemy cavalry units. This infantry unit right there was completely annihilated. The machine gun hasn't lost a man. We've lost a few in the front line of the Red Army rifles. But mostly it's been the enemy who's been utterly devastated by this. Got 3 more infantry units. I don't know, the Order of the Red Banner might arrive too late. We've got a slew of infantry now joining in the battle over here. Which could possibly be ambushed by the Red Army banner, or the Red Banner infantry. What we'll do is we'll set them up like that. We'll hold them back. Because the main point is still to drag them into this death zone. They're coming dangerously close here while we are out of formation. Marching slightly at an angle. It's not great. Quickly formate the elite units. And prepare to return fire. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, they know they shouldn't attack. And then they kind of turn back, but I don't know what they're doing. If we go back over here, we can see the enemies being pushed back by heavy artillery and machine gun fire, which have destroyed most of their infantry. I kind of want to keep most of this trickle of infantry going down towards the death zone that we've created. Oh, this one's actually being hit by the machine gun right now, I think. Yeah. They're not gonna come back. And that cavalry unit has been very indecisive of where it wants to go. To the point where there's only 12 of them left. And with the way they're handling this, I don't think anyone's actually going to survive out of that unit. With the fact that we've cut the... we've killed the enemy general. Oh, the artillery has arrived. I can see that has taken its position. Time to unlimber that and add on to the carnage. Focusing artillery fire should break that unit. And then with the 2 artilleries that we do have... Can I actually... Yeah, I think I can set up by these walls. Let's charge forward. With the red banners held high. These units do not have the red banner though. Unfortunately. What unit is it that actually has that? Is it the normal rifleman? No, they don't carry the banner either. So we're gonna set up you over there. Wrong side of the wall though. Okay, why don't you just sit there then? If you don't want to sit on the right side. Okay, he doesn't want to sit on the right side of the wall either. You'll do like that. The enemy's not really within range, are they? So we'll have to march out. The thing is, they are already really broken up. target the light infantry because they're turning on us as we are setting up out in the field. If we can just do a little bit of an upset on them. Oh, they're lining up perfectly for the machine gun, aren't they? The light infantry is getting hit by the artillery. And soon, this will all be over. Machine gun, aim for that one. Firing up the length of the unit like that is going to absolutely destroy it. And then with my elite units putting down really devastating fire. Surprised that the light infantry died that quickly, but I guess the order of the red banner is really accurate. And there we go, victory has been achieved. We will hold fire and allow the enemy to retreat. There's basically nothing left, and hopefully I might even be able to push on to their capital and take it. Absolute carnage though, if we look at what actually transpired here. An army of 5,000 men reduced to nothing. Here's the result of that battle. So we deployed 6,064 men compared to the enemy, which deployed 5,100 men. They had the advantage in that they held the river that we needed to cross. However, we had heavy equipment. We had 2 units of artillery and 1 machine gun, so that very much tipped it in our favor, which led to them losing 4,600 men, leaving only about 500 left standing. Machine gun was the one that killed the most. Red Army rifles, even though I only used them in the dying moments of the battle at the very end, they still end up as second place, even more so, achieving more kills than the field gun with that little time they had. Then we see the partisan unit, only 1 guy remained, but they actually managed to inflict 300 casualties on the enemy. The other partisan unit got similar, but I mean the machine gun, you can't. 16 men manning 4 machine guns managed to take out 1,500 enemy troops. That's a lot. With that, let's see. They're gonna retreat back. I wonder if I have... Yes, I do have enough. I do have enough movement points to move across and end them and take control. So now we have control of Vilnius. Now the thing here is we are still at war with the Germans. Question is if they're gonna attack. Now this campaign was done at the same time as the Austrian one, so it still has the problem of a very docile AI, because I put it on I just put it on hard instead of very hard. Or what they changed it around to do was they moved everything a bit, so the lowest you could go was medium, and it's difficult. It's unnecessary as well for me to explain it, but I basically put it on hard, where I probably should have pushed it all the way to the max. Even if the enemy... Now, a lot of the problems with Total Wars is that if you put it on just the hardest, all they do is spam armies, tons of armies, and just throw them at them. Normally that would be a major issue, because it would be so grinding to take them down, because the methods of taking them down are very inefficient. However, with the deadliness of the weapons in this mod, with machine guns, with gas, I could definitely see myself, you know, annihilating tons of troops, tons of those death stacks that they would send against me. The only problem would be not so much defeating the enemy, but making sure that the game wouldn't crash under the strain of these the battles that I imagine then that would be very large. Anyways, we took Vilnius, so that's now under our control. Now the Belarusians are in even worse state than they were before, because now, I mean, we've got a complete nice railroad there. Within one turn we would be able to strike. I don't doubt if they march back that they would even be able to make it back. And then, I mean, they've gone from being kind of have roads. Well, at the start of this video, we didn't hold Smolensk. So then the main road that we would be able to attack was the railroad going down from Riga, going through here, going to Vietbiask, and then down to Minsk. And maybe that's why they decided to attack here. Maybe they didn't see us coming. But now, at the end, we have Smolensk. So this road is open. So that's a front that's open. And then Vilnius has fallen. So that opens up really close to their flank. They would have done a lot better had they actually consolidated their artillery around Minsk and tried to hold there instead of what they're doing right now. Anyways, we're gonna end the video here, but for the future, I mean, it looks good. This army will continue down towards Belgrade, take that out together with the cavalry. This army, as this one is actually in a better position to attack Minsk, this one will continue down here and actually set its sights on Kiev instead. As these armies will now split, this army will move over to take Minsk. This one, under Bursilov, will now march down to Kamets and take that. I think I said that what we'll do is we'll just take back all the Russian territory. If it turns out that this is a very popular campaign, we could see about extending it to certain areas. Maybe not too far, but at least like maybe add a goal of actually striking out against, setting a goal towards Berlin or Vienna, something like that. Or the three enemy capitals then, as we start out with the enemies Berlin, Vienna, and Constantinople. So we would take those. I mean, within the... it wouldn't... Like, oftentimes I limit myself kind of with historical pretext or context, or whatever you want to call it, whereas I don't want to kind of extend it where it would look weird, sort of, with territory that would seem strange. Seemingly like if Sweden took over, I don't know, Sicily or something like that, that would look kind of odd and out of place. But with the Soviets, they would, you know, their goal would be to just sweep over Europe entirely. And maybe that could be another thing, like trying to cause... Because in my Austro-Hungarian, we saw that a lot of nations was pushed to the brink of revolution by the war. So we saw the Spanish fall to it, and we saw a number of other nations being wrecked by revolution. I bet if I hadn't, if I only taken Marseille, we probably would have seen a revolution for the French as well, and stuff like that. With all of that said, we're going to end the video right here, and I'm going to say, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.
Victory, sir, is soon to be yours.